Hello everyone, welcome to my channel where we talk about the things we love like gaming, shows, and anime. Aliens is by far one of the greatest action sequels that ever lived. This movie is the perfect Aliens film. We've had how many films based on the franchise already? 4, including the 2 prequels known as Prometheus and Alien Covenant. But as for now, let's take a look at 10 awesome facts that you probably didn't know about the movie Aliens. Let's begin. Number 10. There were only 6 alien suits made. The appearance of hundreds of xenomorphs is just simple editing and planning. And the famous xenomorph screams were made by altering the shrieks from a baboon. Also, the alien queen took between 14 to 16 operators to make it look like it was real. They did an excellent job. That thing looks fucking terrifying. It even has transparent teeth as opposed to the warrior aliens whose teeth were metallic. As for the facehuggers, a spy door toy from He-Man was used to test out how the facehuggers would move. Number 9. This was Carrie Henn's first and only movie she acted in. She became a teacher rather than continuing acting like most actors would after appearing in a great film. Her brother also appeared in the movie as Newt's brother, but he's only seen in the extended version of the film. Number 8. The set to the alien nest was kept intact after filming was over. In fact, the next movie that would end up using that set was the 1989 film Batman. And when the Batman crew first entered the set, they saw a lot of the alien nest still intact. That's awesome. Looks like the Axis Chemicals was originally the alien nest. Number 7. When Hudson tells Ripley about the weaponry they got aboard, he mentions that the pulse rifles they carry are kinetic, not phased plasma. This becomes a reference to James Cameron's next movie, The Terminator. If you remember the scene where the Terminator goes into a gun store and he asks the store clerk for a phased plasma rifle. Number 6. When Fox execs saw an early cut of the film, they complained to the producer Gale Ann Hurd, thinking that almost all the money was spent on sets rather than special effects. But to their surprise, Hurd told the execs that a majority of the film that they saw in the film were indeed miniatures or optical effects. The artists behind the images were very pleased to see that their work had fooled the money men. Like the set containing the hypersleep capsules. Each hypersleep chamber costed over $4,300 to build, so they placed mirrors and camera angles in all the right places to make it look like there were 12 since they only had 6. Number 5. Hicks was originally going to be played by James Remar, but he was replaced by Michael Biehn a few days after principal photography began. James Remar said in a podcast interview that he was fired from the production because he was busted for possession of drugs. But you can still see him in one shot when the Marines enter the alien nest. He is seen from behind wearing the same armor as Michael Biehn, so it's pretty hard to tell them apart. Number 4. Actor Michael Biehn has been in an Aliens and a Terminator film, which is this movie Aliens and Terminator 1 and 2. But actor Bill Paxton hasn't beat. Bill Paxton has been in an Aliens movie, a Predator movie, and a Terminator movie. The movies are Aliens, Predator 2, and Terminator. Number 3. Speaking of Bill Paxton, he improvised most of his lines in the movie, including,
"That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now?"
And according to Lance Henriksen, the adding of Hudson's hand in the knife trick scene was discussed with almost everyone except for Bill Paxton. Number 2. There's a deleted scene that takes place after Newt has been captured by the xenomorphs and taken close to the Queen's nest. While Ripley heads off to find Newt, she discovers the tracker they put on her, but Newt isn't there. However, in the deleted scene, we see that Burke is still alive, but he's been cocooned and he already has an alien growing inside of him. He asks Ripley to help him, and even though he betrayed them all, she still helps him out, but not by freeing him, but by instead giving him a grenade so he can kill himself to end his suffering. That really was the only option since he already had an alien growing inside of him. But the reason why this scene was cut out was because James Cameron knew that it would take longer for an alien to grow inside of Burke, and it wouldn't make sense if it was already close to bursting out of his chest. And if you probably didn't know, the movie takes timing seriously. Like when Apon tells the Marines they have 10 seconds until they arrive, it literally was 10 seconds. Number 1. James Cameron had a tough time trying to make the film. For example, it wasn't sure that Sigourney Weaver would return to reprise her role because since the movie was going to be directed by James Cameron and not Ridley Scott, it wasn't a sure thing if the movie would be just as good or even better than the movie Alien. The studio wanted James to make an alternate storyline that would exclude Ripley, just in case Sigourney Weaver decided not to reprise her role. But he refused to make one because the series is all about Ripley, so that was out of the question. He was able to convince Sigourney to reprise her role since Sigourney saw the script and saw how much potential it had, and when she wanted to add a few changes to her character, James Cameron agreed to those changes because it fit the character. But as for the crew, filming began in the UK, so James had to try and win the confidence and respect of the British crew, which many of them had worked on the film Alien, and they were all very loyal to Ridley Scott. So in order to convince them and show them that he's got what it takes to make the Alien sequel, he arranged a screening of The Terminator. That would have made the British crew the first people to watch the iconic Terminator film in the UK since it still wasn't in theaters there yet. But sadly, most of the crew ignored the invite and didn't bother showing up. I bet you they regret doing that till today. Another problem James Cameron had to deal with was the original director of photography, Dick Bush. What a name. Anyways, Dick would constantly argue with James Cameron, like saying that the schedule couldn't be met, and when it came to shooting scenes for the alien nest, Dick wanted the nest to be brightly lit to show the insane amount of detail from the set. But James Cameron knew that the alien nest is meant to be dark and that they should rely on the Marines' lights instead. That way they could capture that terrifying feeling of uncertainty, and plus the aliens would not have a nest in a brightly lit area. Dick Bush was a very old school DP and he always lit the scenes of his content. As for James Cameron, he's a very visually involved director. So in the end, James Cameron got fed up with Dick Bush and he said, "You're fired," and threw him off the set. And Dick Bush was replaced with Adrian Biddle as their new director of photography. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if so, please leave a like, share with others, and subscribe if you haven't. And don't forget to click on the little bell icon next to the subscribe button to notify you of every new video that gets uploaded to this channel. And if you'd like to support me on Patreon, check out the link on the description, and follow me on Twitter to find out which videos are up next. Anyways, I'll see you all tomorrow, and remember to have an awesome day.